Okay, it's another Tuesday night, and I'm delighted to be joined by Marcus Mapstone. How you doing, Marcus?
Good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, great. Looking forward to actually having a league game back. Does it feel weird? Does it feel like you've just played in cups for?
Yeah, it does for a little while. Yeah, just had a bit of a holiday really from the league, haven't we? So yeah, it'd be nice to get back to it.
And are any of the players looking at a league now at the moment, or is it still kind of too early?
I
Just
think
concentrate.
yeah, it's just a little bit too early. I mean, personally, I don't tend to look at it. But yeah, I don't really hear of many people mentioning it. So yeah, I don't think much of the team have been looking at it really.
So, but a big game coming up on Saturday in the league with Sholing coming to town. I know we've had some very tough games against them in the last few years.
Yeah.
Is that sort of a focus, or is it just kind of tough game after tough game with all these sort of people?
Yeah, I think they're kind of all tough, really. You have to just win the battle before you can actually play what we like to do, play our football. But yeah, Sholing's going to be a really, really tough game. As always, like you say, it's always a tough game. We're always a big, strong unit. So yeah, well, I think we'll be prepared though.
I think it's one of those things that I say to you every time I think I see you, that I don't feel like you ever miss a header. And I think Saturday might be another case in point where they usually get wide and swing those crosses in.
Yeah, I think, well, I'm certainly going to have to be at my best, as are the rest of the team. But yeah, I try my best not to lose any headers. I'm sure I do, but you know, try.
Well, speaking of which, obviously, let's look at your recent form. 2 goals in 4 games.
Yeah.
That's the same as John Davis.
Oh wow, it's not
better than Joe O'Loughlin. There's only 2 in 5. So leading the way.
I don't think we can get too carried away. I haven't scored for quite a while, so I'm taking it for now. But yeah, I hope it can continue. But yeah, I'm not getting too carried away with it.
Well, you say don't get too carried away with it, but obviously that's you did mention that you hadn't sort of scored. I think it was Barnstable away 2019. I think we had to go back a couple of seasons on the charts for that one. But I think it was more the fact that the positions you're getting into in the corners in this season, it seems like you're getting a lot more chances. Is that something?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I might have got a bit of my mojo back for wanting to score. Maybe I didn't quite have the desire last couple of seasons. So hopefully I have found it. I've stumbled across it again. So
is that because your centre back partner in Sam doesn't chip in with a lot of goals either? You just kind of stay over there.
You're saying that, I'm not. But no, I don't know. I think he does tend to. He's slightly taller than me. I think he tends to draw away the bigger defender. So it's giving me more of a chance, I think.
When we talked to Jack, we said that Joe was setting the kind of benchmark for the fullbacks to try and chip in with a few goals, and that they've got to try and match where Joe's getting to. And I feel like you're just doing the same for Sam. You're saying, "Come on, catch me up. Come on, Alex. Where are you?"
I don't know. Actually, going back a few seasons, I think we had a little side bet who could score the most goals, and it was quite close because I think I got 1 and he got none. So I think that was actually the Barnstable season. So yeah.
Oh, so that did it. November.
Yeah, clinched it. Yeah, which is not very good, is it?
I wonder if Paddy Power would have done a cash out at Christmas type offer on that November winner.
Might have been a safe bet that season, to be fair.
Is it something that Danny puts any kind of pressure on the defenders to sort of contribute to goals, or is it?
I don't think defenders necessarily. They like to, Simo especially likes to see his set pieces working, but I don't think he's fussy where it comes from, to be honest, as long as it goes in the net. So yeah, I'm trying to. Although the one Saturday wasn't from a set piece, but I do try to get to the end of them more often than not if I can.
Exactly. It was kind of like you ghosted in at the front post and was there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of these things. I just fancied it coming back in, so I just hung around in it. Yeah, it did. So good luck, really.
Well, I think when you know John's out there, it's going to come in at some point, isn't it?
Yeah, at some speed as well. I think he took my head off, I think. But yeah, managed to get it in.
Those goals reminded me of the old goals at Southampton back when they dealt with it. It was like the goal was a only sort of like a foot in the back of the net was a foot.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, really narrow. Yeah, I almost ran into the net as well at the same time. So yeah, quite close.
So let's just go back through these last couple of weeks. So we've mentioned some big games. I mean, what was it like playing in the Oxford game at home with the crowd and
It's brilliant. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many of the lads have obviously played in front of crowds that often, but yeah, it gives you a bit of an extra boost, really, especially at home. I mean, a bit different against Bath. We were kind of a bit outnumbered, but although we could definitely hear the Froome fans. I could myself. Yeah, I think it's a good thing. It's a good experience for some of the young lads as well, really, to play in front of decent crowds.
So I know obviously you've been with us for 7 seasons, as we sort of said at the start, but how does that sort of day compare with all of the other games? I know now it's kind of past, but
yeah, up there. I think. I mean, that's probably one of our best performances, if not the best. I think. And then to go alongside the big crowd, I mean, it just went hand in hand. Really, just gave them a good day. Shame we couldn't do it against Bath, but.
Well, let's go on to Bath. Obviously, that was a difficult experience. I think where we're sort of measuring ourselves as a club to say, how do we get to that level of being sort of National League South as a kind of ideal aim of where we want to get to and be there. And obviously, we know that's fierce competition and everything in the club is changing and needs to change a lot more before we can reach those sort of levels.
Yeah.
But did the players see it as a kind of benchmark? Did they take it for what it was, or?
That's difficult, I mean, yeah, I think a lot of them should be aiming to, especially the young lads, get to that level. It's just a really decent level of football. So if they're not striving to get there, then I don't really know what they're doing, to be honest. They should be there. It should be, like you say, it should be their benchmark. So for me, yeah, if I was there, I might be thinking, yeah, I want to be sort of playing at that level.
And obviously now we've got Paul Town coming up on the 30th. A game that you probably know pretty well, to be honest. You've probably played in a few of those games from the Premier League days, and also I know we've drawn them in the cup, I think 3 times recently as well. So
yeah. Again, like, very, very similar, like you say, to Sholing. They're always a strong, physical outfit, just really consistent, and they've been at that level for, well, I don't know, as long as I can remember. I've certainly played there a dozen times, probably, I reckon. So yeah, they've been, and I've been around a very long time, it feels like. So yeah, they're doing something right.
I was going to say is with the whole lockdown period, how has that kind of been for you? Because when we talked to sort of Kane back at the start of the season, he was a youngster, and then we kind of had those 2 broken seasons, and now he's not a youngster, if you know what I mean. And you think with yourself going from sort of like 32 to 34, is it now?
Yeah.
Do you kind of see it as a kind of lost window in your playing time, or
yeah, I think so, a little bit for me. Yes, like you say, I mean, football's not around forever, is it? So yeah, I kind of lost, I suppose, 18 months of what little time I have left. I don't know how long I've got left. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame, really. But yeah, like you say, with Kane, he's jumped from sort of one of the youngest to kind of middle of the pack now, I suppose, being 20. What'd you say? He was 25 now.
Yeah, around that, I think.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a shame, but I'll just make the most of the time I've got left, really.
And I think that's something that was quite noticeable. And I don't know if you saw it, but when you had players like Rex and sort of the other ones sort of around that 18, 19, 20, and then came back sort of being 21, for us, they were all kind of like very athletic, but slim built, thin. And you probably thought, I could just push them over. Whereas now they've all come back. And after I think like 18 months in the gym, they're all sort of chest, shoulders.
Yeah, there's a few that have been hitting the weights a little bit, I think. But yeah, it's a good thing. It just makes them stronger. Better for us, really, as a team. So
yeah. So going back, so not too long ago, it's much longer for me, I can assure you. But so starting out, I know like 16, Ormsbury Town. Talk us through your journey. Sort of how did you get to Froome, Marcus?
How did I get to Froome? Wow, it seems so long ago now. Yeah, like you say, at Ormsbury, just playing like a midweek floodlit game at 16, and I think they had training, the first team. The manager kind of just, I think he watched for 5 minutes and sort of said to the youth team manager, well, I want that lad to come training. And yeah, that was the start of that. I started playing adult football, and then after a few seasons, I went to Yates briefly in the Southern Prem. That didn't. Well, it started well. We were top of the league after 10 games, I think, unbeaten. And then I had a bad injury. I tore my hamstring, and then I ended up going back to Almondsbury when I got fit for a couple of seasons from there. We went up. We got promoted into the Southern League Southwest. And then they folded, actually, because they couldn't secure a ground, because the GFA kind of wanted it to turn it into the 4G it is now.
Mm-hmm.
And they were willing to, I don't know, I think they actually fell out, to be honest. I'm not 100% sure on the ins and outs. And then, yeah, when that kind of folded, I went to Bolton, where I spent, I don't know, do you know how long I was there? Probably a good 3 or 4 seasons, maybe.
Yeah, 3.5, I think.
Yeah. So went there, and then we done really well there. Got promoted into the Southern Prem, and then for personal reasons, I couldn't really commit too much, so I left for Mangotsfield, and then 18 months at Mangotsfield, which was a bit stagnant at the time. I suppose we didn't really do a lot, and then I ended up coming to Frome.
So, what manager was it under? Was it under Nick Bunyard?
Yeah, Nick Bunyard. Yeah, he dragged me over, obviously from Bolton. I played under him, and then he got the Frome job and persuaded me to come over, and I haven't left.
You say that as if it's not a good thing.
I don't know. It might not be a good thing for the fans. They might want me to leave a long time ago, but
oh, definitely not. I think it's one of those things, isn't it? And I think when we've spoken to sort of like Alex Hallett and people like that, you kind of see that they look to you and Sam and think, right, okay, I know these are the 2 centre backs in there, whether it's a 3 or a 2 or anything like that. Yeah. There's so much they can learn off. And when we've talked, we haven't had an interview with Warren yet, but just chatting to him on the sort of sidelines, you can see that respect's there. And I think that's just pushed throughout through the fans. And I think it'll be quite strange not to see your name on the kind of the team sheet that's there. And it's one of those things that you kind of go, right, okay, pen in the first sort of 3 or 4 names, and then you think, well, where is the rest of the team going to go, depending on the opposition, depending on what games are coming up. But you kind of know that you and Sam are always going to be putting your bodies on the line.
It seems like that at some games, just doing what you can for the cause, basically. But yeah, I think we're quite similar, really, in that aspect. We're just kind of a little bit old school, really, just body on the line. And
I think experience is the word you're going to have to.
Yeah, I know. For me, I'm a bit older than Sam. I've still probably got about 5. He's probably got about 5 years on me, so he's not quite there yet.
Well, Sam always takes the mick out of me, so I'll say this: you can't tell.
I'm not sure he'll be happy about that,
but yeah, he's got more hair than me, so he's all right.
and me.
I think one of those, again, sort of building on that, and as we sort of relook at this weekend, I think it's something that the opposition will look at, knowing that they'll know who you guys are, if you know what I mean. There's no escaping it. The managers in this league all do that homework, and we can see that from the way that Danny preps his teams. And it's more, they have to find a way of breaking through, and I think that's what we've proven over these last couple of seasons, that we can be very stubborn at letting goals in, which is
for sure
gives us that platform. And I don't know, is that how you guys feel? Do you feel quite confident going out there to think, well, if we're going to concede, it's probably only going to be 1, Bath aside?
Bath aside, even then, and even the Bath game, I think, or personally for me, I went out, I didn't expect us to let 5 in, but I think that's the attitude. I think it's what we've built, really, like you say, the past few seasons, is just that confidence to think they're not going to break us down. If they do, we'll keep it to 1, and that is it, sort of thing. And we always know we can score, so I'm pretty confident we can outscore any team, really, in our league.
Yeah, and I think that's going to hold us true into this season, really, and that's what's been sort of played out. And I know we kind of started off by saying that you don't look at the leagues and everything like that, but it is interesting how it's already shaping up. That there's sort of 4 or 5 teams that people were kind of fancying to be around those top already
Yeah.
starting to emerge. And you think, well, with us having quite a few games in hand now against those sort of sides, it does lead you into that position to think, well, it's in our hands, but it's still far too early to think about those things. And you just think it's another 3 points, rack them up, don't lose.
Yeah, I think that's all we can do. We did a similar thing at Bolton when we done so well. We just took the games as they come. We were like, sort of just coming from the back, and we managed to sneak in the playoffs. So I think obviously we're aiming for through, we're aiming to win the league, but we just have to adopt that attitude, like you say, take one game at a time, and yeah, just try and go out and win every game, really.
And I think that just because I say you're the longest serving player with the club at the moment. I'm pretty sure that's right. Knowing all the other players.
I think does Sam not just pit me, maybe?
Oh, does he? Oh, I thought it was you just.
Yeah, I think he was kind of through maybe, I don't know, month, 6 weeks, maybe 2 months at most before I joined. So yeah, right. I think he pits me.
Well, we've talked too much about Sam, so. But I was going to ask you the question of like, obviously excluding your teammates now, is there anyone that you kind of played with during those 7 years that you think would slide nicely into this team? That you think,
the couple that jumped to my mind, it'd be Connor Roberts would fit in really well, and George Miller. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you were around? Yeah. I think those two, just straight off the top of my head, they would fit in brilliantly. So there's obviously a few more, but yeah, just those two would be good in this team. Really good.
Brilliant. Well, Marcus, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you tonight, and long may it continue, and long may we see you in a Froome shirt and defy age as long as you can. So if we keep having breaks in COVID, then play till you're 45, you'd be fine, as long as the wife lets you.
Yeah. I think that's the stumbling block, the wife, not me.
Well, brilliant. Well, thank you again for tonight, and good luck on Saturday.
No problem. Thank you very much.